They were raised to feel no fear, trained to feel no pain, and taught that death in battle was the greatest honor. The Spartans feared across the ancient world, but what made them so legendary? And were they really unstoppable? Let's dive into the brutal truth behind Sparta's warrior society. To understand the Spartans, we need to forget everything we know about normal childhood. At age 7, Spartan boys were taken from their families and sent into the Agōgē, a brutal state-run training system designed to turn them into fearless soldiers. They slept outside, often without shelter. They were beaten, underfed, and taught to steal, not for fun, but to learn survival. And if they were caught, they weren't punished for stealing, but for getting caught. The goal: total obedience, pain tolerance, loyalty to the state. And girls? Surprisingly, Spartan women were highly respected. They were educated, trained in athletics, and expected to give birth to strong warrior sons. While women in most of ancient Greece were kept in the home, Spartan women could own land and had real influence. Before battle, mothers would hand their sons a shield and say, "Come back with your shield," or on it. It wasn't a wish, it was a command: win or die trying. Once trained, a Spartan man became a hoplite, a heavily armed warrior. He carried a round bronze shield, a short sword, and a long spear. But it wasn't just about the weapons, it was about the formation. The phalanx was a wall of shields and spears, moving as one. Discipline and teamwork mattered more than brute strength. A single coward could break the line, and in Sparta, cowardice was worse than death. But what truly terrified enemies wasn't the weapons, it was the mindset. Spartans welcomed death in battle. They had no fear, no distractions, no personal ambition beyond service to the state. Their most famous moment? The Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. Just 300 Spartans, led by King Leonidas, faced tens of thousands of Persian soldiers. When warned that the Persian arrows would block out the sun, a Spartan named Dionychus famously replied, "Then we shall fight in the shade." But beneath the glory, Sparta had a darker side. The entire Spartan society depended on the Helots, an enslaved population forced to farm and serve. For every Spartan warrior, there were about 7 Helots doing the hard work, and to keep the Helots in fear, Spartans used terror. Every year, they could legally kill any Helot they suspected of rebellion. Young Spartans even used this as live training, hunting and killing slaves to prove themselves. Sparta was built on military power, but that power came at the cost of freedom and creativity. They had no art, no philosophy, no great architecture. Unlike Athens, Sparta produced warriors, but not thinkers. So what happened to this fearsome power? After defeating Athens in the Peloponnesian War, Sparta had a brief moment at the top, but over time their numbers shrank. Spartan citizenship was hard to get, and many young men were dying in battle faster than they could be replaced. Other Greek cities adapted. They used diplomacy, new weapons, new strategies, but Sparta refused to change. In 371 BC, they were crushed by the Thebans at the Battle of Leuctra, a defeat that shattered their military myth, and yet their legacy lived on. We all know Sparta from movies, games, and internet memes, but what if I told you that most of what you think you know is wrong? In films like 300, Spartans charge into battle shirtless, wearing just a red cape. In reality, they wore full bronze armor, including breastplates and helmets. Another myth, that Sparta had huge armies. In truth, the Spartans were always few in number, but they didn't care. As King Agōgē once said, if numbers mattered, the whole world would be ruled by sheep. For Sparta, strength wasn't about size, it was about mindset. So what's left of Sparta today? In southern Greece, there's still a town called Sparta. You can visit statues, ruins, and echoes of a warrior past. But Sparta lives on in more than ruins. Today, the name Spartan stands for discipline, endurance, and strength. They may be gone, but the legend of the Spartans, it still inspires us, even today. Let's make it personal for a moment. Would you survive the Spartan training system? First, at age 7, you leave home forever. No goodbyes, no softness. You sleep outside, no blanket, no fire. Would you quit on night 1? You're hungry, so you steal bread, but get caught, and they whip you in front of the others. Not because you stole, but because you were careless. You fight older boys, and there are no rules. You bleed? Too bad? Cry? You're weak. The goal is pain tolerance, obedience, and absolute loyalty to Sparta. Still think you'd make it, and at age 18, you're sent into the mountains alone, to kill. Welcome to the Krypteia, the secret ritual where young men hunted helots to prove themselves. So I'll ask again, Would you survive Spartan training? Comment below. Spartan is long gone, but their mindset, that still echoes today. Spartan discipline teaches us something powerful, that success comes from sacrifice, that strength comes from struggle, and that comfort never builds warriors. We don't have to live like Spartans, but we can learn from them. Train hard, stay focused, fight with purpose. Discipline is freedom, and the Spartans mastered it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more history deep dives and check out my other videos. Until next time, stay curious and never drop your shield.